Suldal Harbor is a new map to Modern Warfare from the Season 5 update, although it was originally a map all the way back on Call of Duty 1. I thought I'd share with you a few good spots and strategies on the map to gain an advantage on various game modes and get your kills up. In case you're thinking, who is this guy, why should I listen to him? I've been playing Call of Duty now for over a decade in various levels of competition and know my way round a map or two. So the first thing to know on the map is that it's a small to medium kind of map, but does offer some longer range gunfights, and from what I can gather, the best way to win on here is to essentially hold buildings and control areas of the map, as I'll show you in the up and coming clips. Because it is such a small map, there isn't a lot of power positions to be had, and great lines of sight and things like that, but without a doubt, this room right here, and this room just across, is where all the action happens. Obviously there's this other side of the map, but we'll go through that in a moment, but lines of sight like this, and you definitely want like an AR to be mounted in these areas. Of course then you can challenge just over here, but I mean that is not a long distance, you can be outgunned by an SMG very easily. This right here, up this ramp, like say, it's SMG territory really. Because it is such a small map and there aren't many areas to actually break out from this A side, there's this area underneath, but I mean in terms of lines of sight they are few and far between, as you can see. Like we can see down low in these areas, but really we want a line of sight up top. Yeah, so it's around here where we would be challenging this up top area that you'd expect people to be in. Not ideal, you never want to challenge from down low, but you know, if your team is distracting them, it's not so bad getting these shots off at all. And if we just go across to this side now, I'll show you just up here. I'll actually show you why it's so difficult to hold this area as opposed to the other one in my mind. So, of course, if you're in this place just across here, you can be outgunned from that side of the map, from there, potentially. However, here, you're going to try and be holding this. If you try and push up and look down low, you're even more exposed, okay? And then someone can come up here, up this stairwell, as well as the stairwell I just ran up. So unless you're with like a really well coordinated team, it's going to be tricky. So I mean, in my experience, this little spot here kind of covers those three avenues that you can be shot from. So across there, here, and here, like that racked up a lot of kills for me. But of course, if you're actually playing with the team and you're just trying to wipe out public matches, you want to be, you know, pushed right up here because presumably you'd be protected from this side. But I mean, that is essentially more of a defensive role, if you like. Because I mean, if you want to be aggressive and you're holding two, you just have to own this place, as I mentioned. So let's go over to the other side of the map. So this is the freaky thing about this map. You'd think there's like some sort of avenue to over there, but it's not. It's like it's kind of a 2-lane map as opposed to the usual 3. So you've got up there, through there, and underneath. However, in practice, it's really, you know, these 2 ways out. So you can be squeezed back. I mean, I've never known a map before where you know this is your squeeze point. Like you've got to come through here. So I presume on SnD, one of the bombs is going to be over here on this side, and you know, imagine this is your only way through. One tunnel. Tricky. I don't think it would ever make it in the CDL map set. But there we go. But if you are going to hold this area, here is a very obvious place to be. You've got nice lines of sight across the whole map. Obviously not a lot of cover. I mean, you can duck and dive around this. Unfortunately, there's not like a head glitch here, and maybe that would be way too overpowered, but I mean, mounting on something like this, you're going to be frying. And obviously, kind of like here and these crevices, there's not like a massive overpowered spot, but something like this, you can really like try and control parts of the map. But that's more of like a last resort, I would say, because there are areas like this where, I mean, like I say, it's 1 lane into here. So you're going to be controlling that fairly easily anyway. Like, if you're playing with a squad or something, it would just take one guy here. That's all it would take. You'd get challenged from maybe up there. That's probably the main bit, and down this actual bit. Maybe someone would try and jump here if you've got, you know, more than one trying to work you. But I mean, 1 or 2 max holding this part of the map, and you've got no problem whatsoever. In terms of weapons suited to this map, I think I briefly mentioned it. You basically want an AR or SMG, really. You will see, you know, crazy people, LMGs, marksman rifles, that kind of thing. They're probably going to be doing challenges. That's my guess. Because I mean, some of the lines of sight I've showed you already. You know, this one here is a big one, right there, straight across here. Like, if you want to hold this spot with like an M4 growl, then, you know, they can just retire right here. Or again, you've got these avenues if you're trying to make shots here. Fine. Now, there are these 2 up top places, there and there, but I mean, you know, the distance on that is not enough for an AR, really. In terms of perks, I would probably most recommend quite a normal setup for a small to medium map, and that would be EOD to stop explosive damage, or as much explosive damage. Ghost, you know, I basically run Ghost on absolutely everything to stop UAVs, and Battle Hardened, you know, to stop stuns, flashes, gases, that kind of thing. So I've showed a couple of the main power positions and head glitches that can control key areas of the map, but I'm actually going to show you not quite hideaways, but these are kind of spots that will help you rack up the big kill streaks and, you know, high kills basically if you want to go for a nuke or something like that. So I've had a lot of success on that side of the map in those head glitches, and obviously around here. So if you can get a team spawn in this side, this A side here, again, not necessarily on domination, but whatever you're playing, if you can force the spawn this side, then you get, you know, there's one entrance in here, great. And then they'll be trying to come up here as well, but there's loads of places to duck and dive. So I mean, you're taking people here, you duck for a reload here, like no problem. All around here, again, is a nice spot if they're coming from this main side. Alternatively, you know, if you've killed a couple here, you need to reload, you're damaged or whatever, you can get out. Little nooks and crannies to pop in. Obviously pretty dangerous, but I mean, if you're quite tactically aware at that point, they're great to just duck and dive and re-challenge and, you know, constantly do that in a cycle, keeping them back. And you know, you're going to rack up an insane amount of kills, I'll tell you right now. Particularly if you have those perks I listed. You know, you're going to be... They're not going to know exactly where you are, and you're not going to take damage if you manage to get hit by like a C4 or something like that. That's not going to take you out with one hit. If they try and stun you, you'll be out there pretty quickly. It's a good little tactic. Now, I'd personally say the best spot I've found here in terms of a jump up spot so far is a very simple one, and that's simply from here to this window. Because I mean, you know, you're probably going to have people camping in and around these areas, like down low in this building. And, you know, if you don't see anyone up top in this window, then you could take a chance and get in there. And, you know, people aren't going to be expecting that, especially on day one. Okay, for SnD, there seems to be some great spots, despite it being quite a small map. So off the bat, I'll show you one at A, which, you know, I just love immediately. It's not probably the most sophisticated spot, but say if you plant this side of A, so attacking side, you can see them cross the bomb, pick it up, you know someone's there. Not a lot of danger, I gotta say. You'll probably hear someone come behind you, who knows, you might not if they use dead silence. Ideally, you know, at least one member of your team's alive and can watch this back area. So like, we're talking a simple head glitch here, or a little further back to watch your back. Just show you this little one. Again, they're not super sophisticated, but especially when there's a new map, you basically want spots that aren't going to be that obvious, and a great way to do that is to just distance yourself from the bomb. So if you've put it there, chances are someone's going to be looking in this building. It would seem to me, if I saw the bomb plant on that side, someone's going to be up in here. they would not anticipate someone being down there. And if they did, you either kill them or you just duck and dive, you know, dip right out of there. Easy, no problem. Okay, now let's take a little look towards B, bottom. So I'm not going to go over rush routes and stuff in this video, that's going to be on another video. Because, I mean, you know, there's going to be some important ones on here, like the right places to stun and grenade and things like that, especially with a one-lane entrance. But even without showing you like a rush route here, I'm going to tell you need to get here pretty quick. I mean, that much is obvious, because you need to actively challenge players coming here. So, if you're with a team, or at least some teammates here, it's actually not so bad, because the hard bit is getting in, right? So, if you own the site, obviously there's this spot here that I showed you earlier, just for like normal game modes. But even like quite stupid, like obvious things, like owning this area, and then see people move out the back. Like, if you fancy a gun skill, they're not going to be like too hard to get. Alternatively, just ducking and diving around areas like this. Because I mean, if someone's got that covered, it's absolutely no problem. If you're on your own, you probably want to just be edging corners, or even like back here in little head glitches, trying to run it. I mean, it's going to be obvious probably where you are, like I'd expect someone to be here, but you know, if you can trust your situational awareness, things like that, it's not a problem. Alternatively, you can push out here and see crossovers and things like that, which I'd recommend a place to go on defense, so you could lie here and see if people cross over. Obviously round loss there, but that's basically all the areas around B that you can work with, because it's just, there's not a lot to it. There's just like a few boxes and stuff. It's all going to be about kind of gun skill, challenging, teamwork, using stuns in the right place, nades in the right place. There's not a lot you can do in terms of, say, one good power position that you can own and dominate it, basically, unless you win the site first of all and take a spot like this. That's the only way you're going to be really stopping it, and then you have to trust that your teammates aren't going to allow anyone to rush straight through here underneath or anything like that. So that's basically all the spots, the lines of sight for SnD and normal game modes for this new map. I do think, because it is so small, you're not going to get any like real god spots, but just knowing a few quite, you know, powerful, sneaky ones, if you like, on day one, certainly, of this map coming out, you're gonna start winning a lot of games, you're gonna start getting your kills up, maybe nukes, you're gonna get good kill streaks, things like this, and basically it's about increasing the percentages in your favor. So if you did like the video, I would recommend liking the video. Pretty crazy idea there. And you know what? If you want to see more Call of Duty videos, like for example another video on this map showing SnD rush spots, things like that, then why not subscribe? I'll be seeing you later.